Hello, I'm State Senator Susan Rubio, proudly representing California's 22nd Senate District. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join you today. I join you today not just as a state senator, but as a survivor of domestic violence. I join you as someone who, in my opinion, has had to endure the twists and turns of coercive control. When my story first broke and became public nearly 10 years ago, countless victims reached out to me, not just across the country, but across the world, sharing their stories and pain. Domestic violence doesn't end when you leave your abuser. It is a battle that can follow you for years, through courtrooms, financial struggles, and constant fight for peace. Over the years, I've had to protect myself through 3 restraining orders, the most recent one approved by the court only a few months ago. I live looking over my shoulder, wondering if I am in danger every day. Still, in my opinion, my abuser found ways to keep me, my time, my mental peace under duress, filing lawsuits to drain me emotionally and financially. No survivor should ever have to be forced to relive their trauma or shoulder the crushing financial toll of seeking safety. This is what financial abuse looks like. It's not just about controlling a paycheck. It's about controlling your choices, your ability to leave, to rebuild, to live freely. And that is why this conversation today is so important. I want to thank Attorney Yvette Kuyateh for hosting this conference and for turning unimaginable pain into purpose. When she was only 11 years old, her mother was tragically murdered while trying to escape her abuser. That trauma could have destroyed her, but instead, it gave her a mission. Today, she stands as a voice for justice, and I want to thank her for her courage and for creating this space for survivors to heal, connect, and fight back. This conference carries a powerful message that true safety means having the means to rebuild your life. Too many survivors find themselves trapped, not because they lack courage, but because they lack options. Financial abuse isolates victims, strips away independence, and keeps them tied to their abusers long after the physical abuse has stopped. We need to build systems where every woman has access to the resources, support, and stability she needs to move forward with dignity and strength. As a legislator and as a survivor, I've worked diligently to fight for justice. I know firsthand how systems can fail victims, so my focus has been on strengthening protections and restoring what has been taken away from them. Over the years, I've authored and passed several critical bills that strengthen protections for survivors of domestic violence. Some of these include SB 690, extending the statute of limitations, giving victims more time to come forward because healing takes time. I was able to increase from 3 years to 7 years to give survivors the time they need to heal, gain their courage, and bring their abusers to justice. SB 1141 defines coercive control as domestic violence, recognizing that abuse isn't always physical. It can also be emotional, psychological, or financial as well. It includes withholding basic necessities, isolating victims from their support system, as well as reproductive coercion. No one should ever be forced to be pregnant or be forced to have an abortion. SB 538, which allows victims to appear remotely for their hearings for restraining orders, also removes those barriers for those who cannot safely appear in court or face their abuser in person. And I will be introducing a new bill this upcoming year, SB 738, the Reclaim Act, which will protect victims of domestic violence from continuing harassment by their abusers through the misuse of the court system. It prevents abusers from filing frivolous lawsuits or motions intended to intimidate, harass, control, or financially exhaust a victim. These are small but significant steps designed to give survivors time to exhale, find their power, and achieve safety, dignity, and justice. But the work is not done. Too many victims still live in silence. Too many families are still rebuilding after tragedy, and too many survivors are still being financially punished for their courage to defy their abusers and leave. That is why I continue this fight, not just as a legislator, but as someone who understands what it means to survive. To our advocates, attorneys, and community partners, thank you for standing beside us. To our community, be vigilant. And to those perpetrators that always get the benefit of the doubt, we're coming after you. We always see the well-dressed abuser as too polished to be violent, the intelligent abuser as too smart to be a predator, the wealthy abuser is too cultured to be dangerous, and the prominent member of society is too nice to be capable. We have to stop assuming we can recognize evil and start recognizing that violence hides behind titles, wealth, and are often standing right in front of us in plain sight. Our power is in solidarity, and together we are challenging decades of systematic failures and putting policies in place that will help save lives. When we stand together, speak our truth, and demand accountability, we are unstoppable.